everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. Thanks so much for joining me. We are going to create a card today using the Say It With Stamps Holiday Wreath die set. This side die set creates all of these wreaths, and this one can actually get away with being not holiday because of the twigs on it. You have pine needles, you have holly, and then you have mistletoe, but they also could be replaced with regular flowers, which is so nice. We're also going to be using the Inside Out Happy Holiday stamp set to stamp our greeting. So let's jump in and do some die cutting. I have 3 different shades of green cardstock, 3 different shades of pink, and then I have some gold for our bow. This is a set of 2 circle dies. If you put them together, it creates a frame, a circle frame, and I'm going to keep them together and create a frame using the mid-tone green cardstock. And then we're going to make a wreath today with holly leaves, and so I'm going to die cut out holly leaves. There's actually quite a few in here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 holly leaves in here, and one of them you can layer together on this larger one. But we're going to go ahead and die cut this out 3 times each, maybe 4 times each, with all 3 shades of green cardstock. We're going to make sure we have plenty of holly leaves to fill in our wreath. I want a very full wreath. Okay, we have gold cardstock. We're going to take the bow, and I love that all the pieces to the bow are in one piece. And we will die cut that out with some gold cardstock. We're going to make 3 poinsettia flowers. And what we're going to do is die cut this out twice with the light, the fuchsia I would call, and then maybe like a rosy pink. And then with the white cardstock, I thought we would bring in a background using the Say It With Stamps nested A2 arches. I took the second from the largest, and we're going to die cut out a frame. I think a wreath is going to go perfectly in this frame. So I'm going to do all my die cutting, and I will be right back. I die cut out my 3 different colors of holly leaves, my gold bow, which we'll put together right now. To create the bow, it's very easy because there is debossed detail and tells you exactly where to put the bow. You can see this V line here. Let's go ahead and add some glue just above it. And then you take this piece and you just layer it right over the top. We also have some accent pieces which look like teardrops. These are meant if you want to use a different colored cardstock to create a little bit of dimension. I'm just going to go ahead and layer them where they're supposed to go. But ideally, if you wanted to create a little bit of dimension, maybe die cut out a pink bow and then use a darker pink or a lighter pink with these pieces. And that really does bring the bow to life. Dimensionally. With this piece here, I'm going to bring in a small foam square. I'm going to place it behind here for a little added dimension. I'll remove the release paper, and then we're going to place this. Okay, and our bow is complete. And I am gluing on gold cardstock, which takes a little bit of time to dry, but isn't that gorgeous? It's a beautiful bow. We're going to set this with the arch, and then we're going to go ahead and create our flowers here. I die cut out 2, this way we can add them both together. Let's go ahead and use our picker rubber. And then we offset it to create a more fuller poinsettia. But they're pretty on their own if you don't want to layer them like this. And I'm going to do that to the rest of these. And I do like to fluff up the petals a little bit, kind of curl them. If you wanted to use a stylus to do this, you could. Okay, for the flower centers, I have some pink gems. And I'm going to go ahead and add a pink gem to the center of each one of these flowers. We'll just put them off to the side. We'll add our last one here. And then our flowers are really pretty and they are good to go. Look how pretty these are. Because there is debossed detail in there also. Beautiful. Now is the fun part. We're gonna do lots and lots of layering. We have our circle wreath. And what we're going to do is, now I'm die cutting out with green so you can't see behind it, but if you want a smaller wreath, you could just use the inside die. Cut that out. If you want a larger wreath, use the larger one. And if you want just a wreath, you could do what I did and create a frame. So I'm going to start by adding some glue. I do want to, well, let's add some glue to the very base of our mid-tone green, and I'm going to start by adding this all around. Kind of want it evenly spaced. So I know I die cut 4 of these, so I'm going to find all 4. Top, bottom, side to side. Okay, and then I'm going to switch colors. We'll take the darker green, and then we'll take maybe the larger leaf and add a couple in between. And okay, and I did scoot them in a little bit more just to make my wreath a little bit smaller. I want to make sure that it's going to fit here in this section like so. And I think we're doing pretty good. Now I'm going to take our lightest green, and then we're going to just add the light green on the inside. This time I'm going to flip it like so. I think that's a good start to the wreath. Now I don't want it uniform all the way around, so now's the fun part where we get to take our leaves and we can just fill in, but I'm going to add some small foam squares behind here for a little bit of dimension. And I think this is just gorgeous. Look at the dimension that this has. I think we need one more right here though. You can see how easily it is, to go from small to bigger just by adding more leaves. And I think that looks great. And you can see how you could easily build on this. So I'll keep these leaves off to the side. And then I have a piece of cardstock. This is an A2 panel that will go over my card base. This is the same color as one of the flowers here. Actually, it's the lightest. But I do want to do a little bit of ink blending on the bottom with a couple shades of ink. I have a dark and a light. I'm going to start with my light ink. And using my blending brush, we're going to add some color. Just lightly, and then I'll go in with my darker ink, and then we will add it to the bottom. So we have a little bit of a gradient. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card base. For the most part, I have it adhered on the bottom, but we still have a little wiggle room on the top to do a little tucking. Before we do that, I want to stamp my greeting at the very bottom here of the arch. And then I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas, just straight Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use my black ink for that. And I will stamp it right at the bottom. Just want to make sure it's centered. Lovely. Okay. Okay, so our greeting is done. Now what I'm going to do is I took a strip of the same the gold cardstock that we use for the bow. I put adhesive behind the back, and then what I'm going to do is stick it through the wreath here, and I'm going to kind of loop it and tack it towards the back. So this is kind of what it looks like. We're going to create a hanger for our wreath, and then okay, now we're going to flip over our wreath, and then using some more foam, small foam squares, what we're going to do is add a little bit of dimension behind here. I went ahead and removed the release paper off of those small foam squares, and then I'll take this and we are going to place it on our archway. It's right in the center here. Lovely. Okay, we're going to take our card base, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and add adhesive to the card base. We're going to tack down our archway right in the center. I can trim a little bit more off this top piece, and then we can tuck it underneath that top cardstock. And then when you open it, you don't see it on, it looks nice and clean when you open it from the top, which is lovely. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my bow, and we're going to put some foam squares to the left and to the right. And I'm going to go ahead and add my bow right down the center. So pretty. And then we have our poinsettias. What we're going to do is just go ahead and add 3 in a little cluster. And then we're going to bring back some of those pink gems, and I'm going to fill in some small pink gems around the wreath area for a little added sparkle. And then that finishes off my card today. There is a little bit of bulk to it, but if you don't want that much bulk, you can always omit the foam adhesive. But such a fun die set. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.